What's up, everyone? Elaw here. Today we're coming at you with a first-time reaction to a track called Back to Friends. It's by this artist who goes by the name SOMBR, but his name is Shane Booz, and is an American artist from up in New York City. So he's also 20 years old. So I'm going to take that as it is. Makes me feel a little old, but I'm excited. I've actually never heard of him before, even though this whole thing went viral on TikTok, apparently back in March of 2025. So we're going to give it a listen and see what goes from there. Yeah. Kind of raunchy. Yeah, so I guess working backwards, from what I just heard, with him going up to that high note, we heard layered in with that was either a real or MIDI or similar violin that was mirroring that melody going up to that high note an octave higher. And it was interesting. I hadn't really thought about that, but it like just showed up in that instant as it was happening. So it really stood out in the texture a little bit, and I think gave more emphasis to that ascension. So interesting. Then further back from there, the other major thing, I don't know, his voice is not what I would have expected, but it's a really nice voice. It's got a little bit of like texture to it, like gritty, but not really like gritty. Not like hit the gritty. I still don't know how to do the gritty. Anyway, but it's got a little bit of texture to it, and it just works out really nicely. And then in his upper range and like what he's doing here in the choruses and the bridge is, I guess it's a little more reminiscent of like Benson Boone, where it's definitely a smoother sound, but it doesn't feel like it's being pushed out nearly as much as what you hear from Benson. And that's not a stab one way or the other, but I don't know. It's just interesting. Just something I hadn't really thought about. Anyway, let's finish this up. Yeah, let's talk about that. First thing I just want to mention before it slips out of my mind again is that rhythm we hear from the synth at the beginning, the bump, 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 is actually the rhythm that the drums pick up and keep through pretty much the whole thing. And I thought that was super interesting because the synth after that initial introduction does not stand out anywhere else. So I like how it kind of sets the tone and you're expecting it, but then it's like in the background and it fills into your subconscious, I think. And I had to really think about it for a moment to figure out what was going on and why that was there. But it's this nice texture change that sets you up really, really well for the overall mood of the track, I think. So I dig that. And then actually, also on that point of different timbres, textures, SOMBR seems to use a lot of different sounds, a lot of different colors with his production on this track. And I think that's pretty cool actually because you don't get stuck with a palette that is that gets stale by the end of the track. And most of the time, especially for a 3.5 minute track, it's not going to get stale until you do multiple listenings. But this, I don't know, it keeps you a little more aware and engaged, at least personally for me. I think with those subtle little changes, it really brings a different sort of expectation to what the song wants the listener to do. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know if I've heard something that has made me think about the track, about any track, quite like that. So I dig it. I dig it so much. And yeah, I mean, going into it, didn't know what to expect. But in general, it was a really nice track. It's a little too, at least for me right now, at 5:38 in the morning, it's a little too mellow for me to really want to dive in and listen to on repeat kind of deal. But I think it's pretty solid stuff. So I may end up checking out some more of his stuff down the road here. We'll see. But with that, if you like this kind of content, you want to see some more stuff, then definitely drop a comment down below and maybe hit that like button. And if you haven't, consider subscribing, maybe ringing that bell for some notifications. And with that, until next time, Internet's second tiredest music teacher, this is Elon